Hello, my name is Ed. This is going to be a reply to Vision of Comics. He did a video clip some days back, and the question he asked on his clip was, what's your most valuable comic book, or what's the comic book that holds a soft spot in your heart? And the way he phrased that, really made me think in a different direction. Usually I think about, what was like one of my favorite stories or my favorite artist or whatever. I've actually done a couple of videos, maybe about a year or so ago, regarding, some of the earliest comics that I can, remember having or reading, Doctor Strange, the Avengers when they were in the middle of that Serpent Crown arc back in the late 70s, stuff like that. But I'm going to pick this comic book, and it's going to be an offbeat reply, and I hope I'll be able to explain myself right. But this is going to be Avengers 93 from 1971, and I'm not just talking about the comic or the story. I'm talking about the physical copy that I own, the one that is in my hands right now. Okay, so just to go back, when I was in the comics back years ago, I was kind of in the Avengers or whatever, and at one point I actually built up a pretty good run. I had from issue, I think it was 18 or 19, I think it was 19, with the first appearance of the Swordsman, all the way up into the mid-200s or whatever. I had a little gap of some of those issues, when Star Fox was in there, because I really wasn't that much of a fan of the character, but I did have some of the stuff he was in. I remember having, what was it? That storyline about the daughter of Thanos, and I think he may or may not have left around that time. I remember having the Siege stuff. I remember having that stuff that tied into Secret Wars 2 or whatever. But then I think I got rid of those later issues because, I don't know, I didn't like having the gap or whatever. So my cutoff point, so I sold those, and the cutoff point was 230 something, whatever issue that was that had the trial of Hank Pym in it. That was the one where it was the cover was a close up of Hank Pym being sworn into court, and he's swearing on a Bible, and I thought that was cool because we had the fall of Hank Pym and then the redemption of Hank Pym, and that was like a nice little closing point. So I had from 19 up until that issue, and I only had like a few gaps. I was missing like, I think it was either 25 or 26 or whatever it was. Whatever, that might not even been it. Maybe it was 20, I can't remember the number actually, but it was whatever issue that was where Cap's Kooky Quartet took on Doctor Doom. I was missing this issue here, 93, which goes into the whole Kree-Skrull War. I was missing issue, it was either 98 or 99, whatever issue that was, where Clint Barton went back to being Hawkeye. For people who don't know, Clint was Hawkeye at first, of course, and then for a period of time he was Goliath, and then he went back to being Hawkeye. And then when he went back to Hawkeye, he had like a different suit, and his suit made him look kind of like a male stripper or something like that. And then I was missing issue 100. But then after that, but other than that, I had like a complete run, and I had most of the giant size and king size annuals too from that period. I think I was missing king size annual number 2, or not, or what? How was it? The one from the whatever it was, 68 or something like that. The one where it was a follow-up to issue 656 where they had gone back in time or whatever, and this issue shows what happened where they're trying to get back to their Earth, and they ran into like the Scarlet Centurion and blah blah blah. Anyway, I'm getting off point. Okay, so cut to years later, I don't have like my big comic book collection anymore. I sold a lot of those comics. I lost some of them. I trusted some of them with people I shouldn't have trusted, and I'm sure they sold them. Whatever. But back in the comics, within recent years, I'm like in a local comic book store, and I'm just going through like the cutout bins just for fun or whatever, and I see this comic book, and I'm like, oh my God, it's Avengers 93, written by Roy Thomas with art by Neil Adams. Like I said, to kick off the Kree-Skrull War, which is a major event in Marvel, just regular Marvel history, as well as being a major event in the Avengers history or whatever. And here it is in the cutoff bins. Now, why is it in the cutoff bins? because it's in terrible shape. There's no cover on it, and it's literally deteriorating. The pages are all yellowing, and yeah, there's like water stains on the last page, and you can see, and it's probably from whatever moisture or whatever got on the comic, where the staples seem like they had started to rust at one point, and the glue is coming off, the glue from the spine and stuff. So it's really not a great condition comic book, but I dig it. You know why? Because before I bought this, I am totally sure that somebody came into the comic book store with this and probably a stack of other old comic books, thinking they were going to get some money out of it. Like my dad, my uncle, old man Ferguson from down the road or whatever gave me these comics. Can I get some money for them? And I'm sure the manager of the store was like, yeah, these comics aren't worth anything. They're falling apart. I'll give you 25 cents for them. And the guy probably took it, or girl, whoever, took it, and as that. But the thing is, whoever bought this comic book is what touches me. I mean, I don't know. I have no idea, but I totally imagine that person's dad or uncle or older cousin or whoever it was, went into like the drugstore or whatever back in 1971 with 25 cents, and he bought this comic book, and he probably loved the hell out of this comic book. I'm pretty sure he probably read it over and over and over till it got beat up, till the pages had folds in them, or I should say the cover had folds on them, and then read them some more until the cover fell off, And I'm sure at some point, that dude probably developed other interests. Maybe he got into cars, maybe he got into girls or whatever, and he took all of his comics and he put them away into the basement or something, and they probably that's another thing. This comic book smells. You take it out of the bag, it smells like a cross between, I'm going to say it, old bookstores and somebody's musty, funky basement. Yeah, but because it obviously was sitting there for years and years and years until that person or whomever passed it on to somebody else, who may have passed it on to another person who, like I said, tried to sell it at the comic book store. But whoever bought this first obviously loved this comic book, you know what I mean? I remember when I was a kid, first getting into comics, and it hadn't really clicked to me that, oh yeah, I should probably try to take care of these. I would get them and just read them over and over and over, then leave them somewhere, then come back to them a day or two later and read them some more, and then read them some more, just because they were just that cool and that fun for me, you know what I mean? And I know the person who bought this particular thing, this piece of product, probably loved it, as much, if not more, than I did. So that's why this comic book has a special place in my heart. Okay, so I hope I haven't embarrassed myself too much. Thank you very much, and you all have a good one.